Ontario Conservative MP Kelly Leitch is the first candidate to join the Conservative leadership race. Leitch filed her nomination papers today. It's the beginning of a long process to select a permanent replacement for Stephen Harper. So any candidate wishing to run needs 300 signatures from party members in at least 30 ridings from at least 7 provinces and territories. They also need to fork over a $50,000 registration fee and another $50,000 as a way to ensure that they're going to follow the rules. And the deadline to register is almost a year away, February 24th, 2017. And each candidate can spend up to $5 million total. The race wraps up next May when the party chooses its new leader. And while Kelly Leitch may be the first in the race, she won't be alone for very long. Quebec Conservative MP Maxime Bernier is going to file his nomination papers tomorrow. He's pushing a message of small government and is calling for what he calls an end to corporate welfare. But will that message resonate with Conservative supporters? Is he the right person to take on Justin Trudeau in the next election? Got to think about those things. Joining me now, Conservative leadership hopeful, Quebec MP, former Cabinet Minister Maxime Bernier. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you being here. Let's start with the obvious question. Why do you want this job?
First of all, because I believe in individual freedom and personal responsibility, and I think that we must have more freedom in Canada, less government. We must go back to our core values as conservative, and I'm ready to do that. And also, I had discussion with a lot of our members across the country the last couple of weeks, and also a lot of our members of Parliament, my friends. And I've seen an enthusiasm for me being a candidate, and I'm ready for that. I have the platform ready. Yes, I want to speak about corporate welfare, but a lot of other subjects. And I'm looking forward for having a debate with the other candidates and also discussion with the members.
Sure. Okay, so fair to say you represent sort of the libertarian point of view?
Are you
comfortable with that? No.
But I will say, what is my definition? Maxime Bernier believes in less government intervention in your day-to-day lives and more freedom. That's good on the economy. On foreign affairs, for example, I'm 100% in agreement with the policy of our last government and the position of our party right now. I think Canada has a role to play in the world. But usually the libertarian, they don't believe that. So right. I'm a little bit different than the libertarian on that side.
So what does more freedom look like then? That sounds very American when you say it like that.
Yeah,
what does that sound
more
like?
freedom. I'm going to give you an example, very easy. This government interfere in provincial jurisdiction in healthcare and education. I believe that we must respect the Constitution and so not interfere in this jurisdiction.
How do you feel
so
it's
like
interfering
that you have
in
a smaller
those
government, like that we have a smaller government. That's mean more freedom. That's mean lower taxes. So people will have more of their money in their pockets and they will be able to do what they want to do. I believe that people, they know better than a politician in Ottawa or bureaucrats in Ottawa what to do with their money. So more freedom, it's more money from them in their pockets. And I will have some proposal on that during that campaign.
Okay. You've said that the next leader needs to be bilingual. I think everyone would agree with that, right? Would you take someone who was learning French? I mean, Stephen Harper, when he started out, wasn't the best in French.
Yeah,
got
for
a lot
sure.
Better.
I was very happy with my colleague, Lisa Wright, when after the Manning conference, she said, I don't speak French, but if I'm running, I will learn it and I'll be able to speak French. I said I'm anxious to debate with every candidate and maybe with Mr. O'Leary in French. I think this is important.
Knowing that he doesn't speak French, you say that, yes.
Yeah.
So you would have an advantage. You're very well known in the province of Quebec, particularly in the region you're from, in Beauce. Is getting out early part of trying to attract a little bit of attention from the rest of Canada, make sure that people understand what you're about?
But for sure, because I'm ready, like I said, and I want to be out there and to meet our members and speak to Canadians. And I have a lot of speeches that I want to deliver on different subjects. My platform is ready. And yes, it's a long campaign, but also you have to sell memberships.
Sure.
If you want to be a member of this party, it's only the leader of this party, it's only the members who vote. So it would be important to have the organization ready all across the country. And I think I have it. So we'll work together. And
So where has the party gone wrong? Where has it lost itself, its conservative values, or where does it need to refocus in order to connect with Canadians, do you think?
Well, I think the most important in the last election, and the good news for us, I think that Canadians didn't vote against all our policies. No. I think that was the people, they wanted a change. And after 9 years, And so that's a good news for us. We have 99 MPs and more in Quebec. We were 5, now we're 12, and I think we can grow more in Quebec, having more MPs the next election, and that will be a big challenge for the new leader, and a nice challenge also. So it's not about all the policies, maybe it's the way we explain that. I want us to have our party to debates and not be shy about being a conservative, being proud of that. I delivered a speech in Barrie a couple of weeks ago on fairness, and yes, being a conservative, believing in freedom and personal responsibility, and it's in line with policy that would be fair for all Canadians, like the corporate subsidies to businesses. I don't think it's fair for a small entrepreneur in Beauce or in Barrie, Ontario, to be forced to pay taxes to fund businesses like Bombardier. The way to have a fair policy, it will be to lower taxes to all businesses and not pick a winner and a loser. So
that might make you unpopular in Quebec to say that. You understand
No, because maybe it's the elite politician that think that it's bad, but the people in Beauce, the entrepreneur in Beauce, he understands that, and the people in Beauce and in Quebec who are paying tax, they understand that, and also the most important, the VP in charge of the C-Series said a couple of weeks ago that they don't need the money, they don't need the $1 billion, and this government will give $1 billion when the person, the vice president in charge of the C-Series said in Zurich that they don't need that. So it's a bad decision. I think Quebecers, they understand that, and all Canadians also.
Okay, maybe you heard us in Power Panel talking about what personal freedom would sound like for you. Where do you stand on marijuana, the legalization of marijuana?
But I think it must be time to have a discussion with that. I'm happy that this government will bring a bill, and yes, we'll have a discussion about that.
What does that mean? You're against it, or you're for it?
No, I'm more for it, but it depends how the government will do it, and at the end, I will be able to decide if I will vote for or against. But I'm more toward for that. But it depends on all the conditions. So it's why there's a lot of questions in this for this leadership, and it's why I'm ready, and I want to deliver speeches that will explain all my position.
Things like, and I'm not going to get you to put out all your policies now, obviously, but things like a carbon tax, for instance. We recently saw the Ontario PC leader Patrick Brown say, you know, it makes sense for us to have some version of this and to consider this. Do you think that the Conservative Party needs to start wrapping its head around the idea that you have to tax?
I don't think at the federal level, because there's a lot of carbon tax at the provincial level.
Sure.
We have one in Quebec, another form in Alberta, in BC. So if you have carbon tax all across the country in different provinces, why the federal government will come with another tax?
Okay.
So I don't think it's the solution at the federal level, but we'll have discussion what we can do for the environment on the conservative way. And I think we can be imaginative.
Well, one of the things that Preston Manning said at the Manning conference a month ago or so was that Conservatives don't always do a good job explaining on social issues how you're going to help people, you know, what you can offer them. You say low taxes and you know, there was a lot of talk about security, for instance, during the election, but there's not enough talk about what Conservatives believe in socially. Would you agree with that you need to do a better job explaining that?
Yes, I agree with that, and that's why I delivered my first speech on fairness and showing to people, to Canadians, that's being fair, it's being conservative. Because when you pass a legislation, you help some people usually, and that's the other one who are paying for that. So you must use your power to pass legislation and to regulate in a fair way. So yes, and being a conservative, having a less government like that, you'll be more fair. But I believe that the federal government has a role to play, and it must be strong, but strong in federal jurisdiction, and that's important for Quebecers and for all Canadians. We don't want to interfere in provincial jurisdiction. I'm coming from Quebec, and if you're doing that, you won't have a constitutional peace yet like we had in the last 10 years, and that's important for all Canadians. Their priority is the economy.
Do you think it's important for the Conservative Party to have a leader who is from somewhere else other than Alberta, for instance?
I don't think so. I think we need a leader who believes in the conservative value and be able to explain that to Canadians with passion, with conviction, and that's the idea. For me, the most important in this campaign, that's not the money, that's the idea. The ideas will bring people, and that's why I want more candidates to be part of this campaign with different point of view, different ideas, and the members will be free to choose with different style of conservatism.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a long campaign. I'm sure we'll talk many times. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on the show. That's Maxime Bernier.